Hello and welcome to today's reflection. This week we're going to be thinking a little bit about Sabbath rest. And I wonder what thinking about Sabbath makes you feel. And I wonder what Sabbath observances you have had in the past. For many of us, Sabbath may be associated with Sundays and the activities we do on a Sunday. But particularly at this time when our formal practices are not so easy, it might be a good time to stop and think a little bit about what Sabbath may mean for us at this time. Simply put, Sabbath could be a day where we set apart time for rest and restoration and for enjoying and worshipping God. So we're going to take some time this week to think about what those two things might mean for us in this season of our life. You might like to take some notes as you go through, and we may refer to these as we go through the week as well. So let us begin now by praying together. Take, Lord, this time. I give it to you.
Take, Lord, my thoughts, my emotions, my fears.
Take, Lord, my hopes, my ambitions, my plans.
Take, Lord, my choices, my desires, my will.
You have given me them all, and so I return them to you.
For all things are yours.
Only give me your love and your grace, for this is enough for me. Amen.
Genesis chapter 2, verses 2 to 3. By the seventh day, God had finished the work he had been doing. So on the seventh day, he rested from all his work. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creating that he had done.
The concept of Sabbath is built into the story of creation. It is set aside and it is blessed. This rest is meant to be a gift, and we, as people made in the image of God, have a need to rest. How easy do you find it to rest? And what sort of things do you do to rest? There can be two types of rest, active and passive rest. Active rest is when we do something other than our everyday tasks. It is a rest which involves us doing something in a way where we are absorbed by the activity and are able to let go of our worries. It may be exercise, visiting somewhere, art, music. Can you identify any activities that absorb your attention in this kind of way? They may be things you do at the moment, or it may be things that you have done in the past. And if you are able to identify an activity like that, you might like to stop for a moment and just notice how thinking about that activity makes you feel. And notice how you feel when you're taking part in that activity. Notice how your body feels as you stay with that thought. Another form of rest is passive rest. For many of us, this is a more difficult rest. Passive rest is when we cease our activity and find space to slow ourselves down. This can feel awkward at first, particularly as our minds will often tell us that there are more pressing matters. What has been your experience of this kind of rest? And is passive rest something that you consider restful, or does it feel more like a chore? Passive rest gives space for us to meet with God in a deeper way. It gives time for God to speak to us and enables us to receive the resources God has to sustain us. Are there any sorts of things that have helped you slow down and be still in the past? And are there any other ways that might help you during this particular season of life? It might be particular ways of praying, or maybe devotional materials. It may be deliberately taking time each day to notice how the day has been for you and where God has been in it. It may be seeking out a soul friend or spiritual accompanier. Perhaps finding ways of retreat, either online or in person. Or it may just be intentionally stopping at various points each day, simply to breathe or to express gratitude. So, drawing together our thoughts from today, you might like to make a note of the key things that have come to mind for you. What sort of active rest might you like to have in your life at this time? And what sort of passive rest might you like to have in your life during this season? Now conclude this time by yielding all these things to God and resting with God.
Thank you for joining us for today's reflection. Let's conclude our time together in prayer. God, who is more than we can ever comprehend, help us to seek you and you alone.
Help us to stand before all that we could do and seek what you would do and do that.
Lift from us our need to achieve all that we can be and instead surrender to what you can be in us.
Give us ways to refrain from the busyness that will put us on edge and off-centre. Give us today your peace. Amen. Amen.